typically Canadian way, they could never quite agree on what the qualifications should be, and so there are no names inscribed in the Hall of Honor. The walls are blank. But today it's a Hall of Honor to remember all those Canadians who fought in the wars of especially the last century. And the more than 100,000, 117,000 who lost their lives. Of that figure, 28,000 who lie with no marked grave. The unknown soldiers.
Peter, there has been a vigil mounted at the coffin in the Hall of Honor since it arrived there, and there's been something like 270 soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Mounties who have been keeping that vigil, doing 30 minutes on in the mourning position with their arms reversed. They have been there continuously, and this is the first time they will have finished their time. First time that no one has been standing vigil at the Hall of Honor. They will resume standing vigil when the body is laid to rest at the cenotaph an hour or so from now.
Bearer party just now lifting the remains of the unknown soldier, preparing to begin the procession out of the Parliament buildings, where the casket will be placed on the gun carriage, and a quite remarkable procession will begin through the streets of Ottawa. Many people will be joining the procession at this point. Dignitaries, including the Governor General, Prime Minister, hundreds of veterans heading over here to the National War Memorial. the rotunda of the Parliament buildings, the center block, the unknown soldier leaves the Parliament buildings after having been lying in state for the last 4 days, since Thursday evening after the flight back from France. In a few moments, the remains will be taken down the steps, out the door, just outside. The procession still being placed in order in preparation for this moment. Some of the veterans waiting outside the Parliament buildings. The Governor General and the Prime Minister will be part of the procession that heads down to the War Memorial, and apparently that's the momentary hold-up here. The procession was a few minutes ahead of schedule, and on days like this everything is timed to the minute in terms of arrivals and departures, and it would seem that there's a collision in the schedules of a number of people, and they're just waiting for that to be sorted out. So a couple of blocks away at the National War Memorial, the crowd has gained in size significantly here in the past half hour or so, as many different Canadians have chosen to make their spot in this moment close to the memorial where the tomb of the unknown soldier has now been constructed, and in the next hour will contain its lone occupant. And Jack, that really was the hope of so many of those who made this their mission, people like Chuck Murphy, that it would not only remember those who had given the ultimate sacrifice, but it would also be a reason for younger Canadians to become involved in their nation's military past.
Peter, the Legion has been for a long time an active worker in educational programs and working with youth. And I know that Murphy himself hoped that the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier would become one of those ways that the military history of the country could be passed on to children. It's part of their history. It's why they live the way they do, and it's important that they know this. We don't teach this very much to our children, unfortunately.
The Governor General, John Ralston Saul, her husband, the Prime Minister, and Madame Chrétien, now in position. Unknown soldier now leaving the Parliament buildings, about to be placed on the gun carriage for the procession through the streets of Ottawa. To the tomb of the unknown soldier.
March. 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 Yeah. Third party. Slow. March. Third party. Halt.
Slow, very deliberate, very careful steps, military position.
Inwards. Turn. Lower. Lower.
The remains now being placed on the gun carriage. Once all is in order and the procession is properly formed, 10 seconds after it begins, the first of a 21-gun salute will be fired. One for each approximate minute, the length of the procession down to the National War Memorial.
Headrest party.
This will be a very lengthy procession of not only military, RCMP, dignitaries. It's taking a bit of a circuitous route to allow the opportunity for residents to pick a spot along the route if they wish, or to be at the War Memorial itself for the final service. Different groups of pallbearers taking their position. The different groups represent veterans, one, two, the actual pallbearers.